Hi, I'm so happy to see you.
Hi.
Like, I feel
I
like we
know.
have the
We're
same glasses vibe.
we're totally twinning, Katie. Except
We,
I went with a blanket because it's LA, so you always think you only need a t-shirt, and then it's like, oh wait, it's winter. I'm cold.
is it cold? Well, I just want you to know I wore my Bed Bath and Beyond Santa sweater just for you, Jen, and it lights up. How cool is that?
I mean, way too cool.
I mean, pull it out for very special occasions, and that's
Yeah.
my time with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. It's quiet here right now. The fish are swimming. The cat is somewhere.
And
I don't know. It's pretty chill.
they want to see your dog more, Jen.
Oh, I know. My dog is a very, very sweet dog.
Yeah.
She's a very good girl. She's a rug, which is my favorite kind of dog as I get older. I just want you to lie there and be pretty and cute.
Aw, nice. I don't even know. I should know this, Jen, because I feel like I know everything about you. What's your dog's name?
Birdie.
Birdie. Cute.
Yeah, Birdie the doggy. Do you and Molnar have a dog? No, right?
No, we don't. No,
We would know.
no, because we travel a lot, and
Yeah.
we just didn't think it was right to have a dog and not be able to really be there, because I think dogs need company and they need companionship. So
You've really been jet setting around this year.
I know. Right now, I wish we did have a dog, but my
Yeah.
daughter has two cats, Mabel and Walter. So they've been keeping us company.
Mm. Are you still out on Long Island?
Yes, I'm out on Long Island right
Mhm.
and I've been sort of going back and forth a little bit. And for Thanksgiving, I did a solo Thanksgiving with John. Carrie, my daughter, went to Boston to see my sister Kiki and her husband Jim, and just the three of them. They were all very tested. And then my other daughter Ellie was in LA, and so we've been kind of scattered all over the place. So how was your Thanksgiving?
It was so great. I just made exactly what the kids love. Like, they don't love stuffing. I do, but I did not make it. I made sweet potatoes. I made mashed potatoes, all the potatoes, homemade rolls, turkey, gravy, this insane gravy, and apple galette, ice cream, and brownies.
Wow.
And then green stuff. There was green stuff for me. And I made them eat some green stuff, but not a ton.
My favorite Thanksgiving recipe, which I didn't make this year, is my mom used to make it. My mom passed away in 2014. Mm-hmm. She used to make pears, and you'd stuff them with cream cheese and chopped up pecans in the pit. Canned pears, of course, not fancy.
Right, with the syrup.
And she'd put them face down, the cut side down in a Pyrex rectangle. Mm-hmm. And then she would cover it with lime jello with a little bit of vinegar, so the lime jello wasn't so sweet. And then she'd slice them in squares and put them on lettuce. And I know it doesn't sound very good, but they're delicious.
It doesn't sound good, Katie, but I really believe you. I really believe you. I believe it. It sounds like a Virginia. Is that a Virginia treat?
I don't know. My mom grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. So, but her mom was from Alexander City, Alabama. And so I think it might be a bit of a Southern dish. And, we were talking about Adriana, who works with me. Adriana is like my Mo.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I know. We're so lucky. She's like you want to say hi, Adriana? She's sort of become my fourth daughter. Because
I know. Hi, Adriana. Say hi. You have to. I'll make Mo say hi, too.
And
yes.
I'm saying a quick hi.
Yes. Oh, she's running. Okay. Hi, Adriana.
Hi, Jen.
Yeah, way to go. Nice to see you.
And you're talking about your mom and dad, and your mom being from Oklahoma and you're from Texas. And then I said to Adriana, well, I know Jen grew up in West Virginia. So what brought your mom and dad to West Virginia?
My mom worked she was a Girl Scout counselor on her summers. Like, she saw it in the back of an ad in the back of a magazine. You could just write in and try to get a job. And she took the bus to Maine, and she just wanted to see the world, and coming from this little farm. And so She was a teacher and she just wanted to move around. And she was teaching in Tucson. My dad was in the Air Force. He had gone to A&M. He was in the, he was a cadet, a Corps cadet.
Yeah.
And they met at a Sunday school party. And that was that. Then they lived in Texas, where my dad's from, where we were all born. But we moved to West Virginia when I was 3.
When you were 3. And that's where, and so you were raised your whole college in West Virginia.
Yes. And that's home. I mean, they're Texan things that because they're my dad and because, they're my whole half of my family is there. Half my family's in Oklahoma. So I have a lot of love for a lot of places. And I've lived in California for so long, which is so crazy. I've lived here the longest, but West Virginia's home.
And we're in West Virginia.
Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
It's the state that you are statistically the least likely to meet anyone from. Even considering Alaska or Delaware or, North Dakota, small, other states with small populations, you're not very likely to meet someone from West Virginia.
Well,
so you're welcome, Katie.
I was going to say it makes you even more special. And I'm from Virginia, as you know, and I think West Virginia is such a beautiful state. People don't, I think, sometimes appreciate how gorgeous it is. And your mom was, you talked about her growing up on a farm in Oklahoma, and I want to talk about Once Upon a Farm, because this wonderful company that you started and now collaborating with Save the Children, an organization that you're super involved in. It's funny, I was going through some papers and because I just finished writing this book, and I had a folder because I supported somebody from West Virginia from Save the Children in 1999.
Oh my gosh.
I meant to pull it aside, but I didn't. I put it in another room. And it made me wonder, that little girl is now probably in her late 20s. And I just wonder how she's doing. And I think it's so great what you're doing with Save the Children, because you're really focusing on kids in rural areas who really need a lot of support and help.
It just makes the most sense to me to help kids in our own backyard who don't have a lot of people offering them a hand up. And Save the Children really is an organization that is focusing, globally, we focus where nobody wants to go, where we catch kids as they are, crossing out of Syria. We're in refugee camps. We're taking care of kids with Ebola. We're kind of in the thick of things wherever, or Afghanistan, where nobody wants to go, war-torn areas. And in the United States, the hardest to reach kids are in rural America. And we know that 7 of the 10 hardest hit rural counties in the country are, predominantly counties of kids who are Black or brown. But a lot of kids in the South, a lot of kids, in coastal California are just really struggling. And then just all over, every state has, rural poverty in it. And it's the most optimistic thing in the world to reach a healthy kid and their mom and to help them connect and help the mom just gain confidence and see that she can really make a huge impact on her kids' learning and get them really just excited and make them feel good.
And you do so much great work with them. I mean, you're not just kind of a mouthpiece for Save the Children or a face, a celebrity face to support the organization. I mean, you go out, Jen, and you visit all these communities. And of course, so many of them have been really hard hit with COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Hospitals are really, really struggling right now because COVID is going all over, and it's gone from urban areas to rural areas like wildfire. And so I imagine that the need has never been greater.
It's never been greater, but our reach has also never been stronger. We've reached 9-fold the kids this year than we started feeding for the first time in rural America. Kids who, there aren't food banks around and they don't have gas money to get to a food bank if they wanted to. So instead, what we're doing is we're giving money to the school systems to pay for bus drivers to take the food out to the haulers. but, or wherever, I think Holler, because that's where I'm from, but whatever the rural, it might be a playground, it might be just some place, even just up and down streets, to deliver food every day. We've delivered 9 million meals to the middle of nowhere. But the coolest part of it is we almost always have somebody on that bus that's a Save the Children coordinator who is looking the kids in the eye. And that, those boots on the ground, they're handing out educational things, and they're handing out gifts in kind and books and things like that. And that's super important, of course, and food, of course, super important. But we're also seeing if there's abuse, and if the kid seems like they're in trouble or distress, and then we can go, just make the calls and intervene for that child. And it just makes me, I want it so badly to be across the country. I feel like any kid who doesn't have this backup and this support who needs it kind of breaks my heart.
Well, it's so true. We're such products of our circumstances.
Yeah.
Oh, someone wants us to turn the comments off so we can see Jen and not the comments necessarily. Plus, we have a lot of great questions from social. But your mom grew up in a lot of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that she said something to you when you got to New York, which has always stuck with you. And I wondered. Mm-hmm. Share that with everybody, Jen.
Your memory, Katie, is insane. And I know you really do remember me telling you this years ago, but she said to me, you going to New York from West Virginia with a college degree is never, whatever you do, it's never going to be as big a deal as it was for me to leave that farm. It will as scary as it is, I know you can do it because I could leave that farm. And she really did know it way before I knew it. I always thought, okay, I got this theater degree, and I worked every summer in summer stock, and I built sets, and I just wanted to be around it. But I'll go back to law school or medical school. I'll keep going to school, and I'll just love this on the side. And my mom just was like, this is who you are. It's not just, you're allowed to just love it and pursue it too. You kind of are. And she said, and it's not that scary. I left the farm. You can go to New York. And I don't know. It's made me feel like brave about all kinds of things. My middle daughter is in a school admissions place right now because she's at where we live. She's applying right now for middle school. And one of the admissions ladies asked her, give me 3 words to describe yourself. And Sarah said, can it be a phrase? And she said, sure. And she said, go for it. And I went, that's my girl. That's it. That's so cool. That's so amazing that was her phrase.
Well, it sounds like your mom was incredibly encouraging, which is awesome. But also, she did accomplish so much because she grew up in pretty poor circumstances, Jen, didn't she?
Oh my gosh, Katie. Really, when you hear the stories, like the little farmhouse that she grew up in, that was on this family farm until this last year, when I would take Ben back to visit it, he couldn't stand up inside. It was so low, and there was water coming in, but from the sinks, the water had to be carted back out. Or wait, maybe there was water going out one way. It was one way, not the other. And there was just like 2 little, kind of a living area and kind of a bedroom area, but it was just a very, they didn't have a stove or electricity or phones or, all that stuff until much later. But you would never, to hear her talk about it, it sounds like the most magical childhood, even though they had a big garden, and my grandmother Violet was really smart about canning and just knew how to do things that we don't know how to do. So my mom has always been a huge advocate. People don't know how to grow their food. They don't know what a boon that is to their own economy and their own, not just health, but it just makes sense. And so I've always had a garden, and it's been a big part of my brain is thinking about just growing your own food and how much power there is in that.
And in fact, I think it's so cool. So for people who don't know this, a lot of people do who follow you. You have a company called Once Upon a Farm,
mm-hmm.
and super healthy food for little kids. But
mm-hmm.
also, I thought it was so interesting because when I interviewed you in Boston, I guess, maybe like a year and a half ago, you were telling me that people who are having trouble, who are going through chemotherapy and cancer treatments, really enjoy some of the things you make, like smoothies and all that. But you're doing healthy food and you're making sure it's affordable. And now join partners. And I know you were excited about this, and you were trying. When I talked to you and the president of the company, there were a lot of kind of things to,
it's hard to do. Yeah, it's complicated to, to really join forces and to have an NGO, to have a company, to be in partnership in this way. But it's been so important to me from the beginning. And luckily to our CEO, John Forker, he and I are totally aligned on the mission of the company, that what's the point of having a company that makes food if you're not going to help feed kids who wouldn't have it? I mean,
right.
Yes, it's a great food. It's what I would have fed my children. And I do actually now. And I have 14. No, she's 15.
Yeah.
15, 11, and 8. And my kids eat it and I eat it. It's not baby food it's like people food that's convenient and healthy. But we're so totally aligned, and we have a WIC line. But now we're actually, we have our first year, you just have to get started. We're really big believers in that. Just get in there and start. And then next year we already have plans to ratchet up our partnership by so much. And it feels so totally right to me.
And I should mention, because I don't think I did, it's a partnership with Save the Children.
Yeah.
And so that you guys can get that healthy food to all those kids who really need it. So congratulations on that. And I think people have no idea how much work this company is, and what an outstanding job you and it's
John Forker, yeah.
Kind of getting it off the ground and going through all the barriers that unfortunately government programs can sometimes put up inadvertently to try to get into the system wasn't easy. So I'm really so proud of everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you, Katie. The WIC system, Women, Infant, and Children, is designed to make sure that, mothers who are bearing children, who are nursing their children, and up to the time that their children are 5, and babies and, infants into children who are the age 5, have healthy food, because you need it to grow, you need it to learn, obviously.
Right.
And gosh, it's such a Byzantine process. Every single state has different regulatory things. Like a lot of states, most states don't even accept organic food for children into WIC. So we've been really instrumental in knocking some of those states down. But then we also, I don't think we've like lost money on it so far. We haven't made any money, but it's important to do it just to show the rest of the industry, and just somebody's got to push it ahead. And luckily, it's not just John, and it's certainly not just me. There's a will and a might in the company and the people who work there, that or the other 2 founders, Cassandra and Ari, and they're just like they see that there's an opening, because there's a communal feeling about how to do it, that I don't know, it's empowering.
Yeah, well, it's so impressive, honestly.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks. You've been such a champion of it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
To raise money for Save the Children and to organize, and you and Amy Adams. I don't know why I forgot that Amy this was a collaboration. 2 of you did Save with Stories.
Yeah.
Well-known people to read children's books, and they're all available on Instagram. Isn't Instagram pretty amazing? I just think it's a great platform, and I want to talk to you about our new friend Robin Shaw in a minute. But you can watch Save with Stories by going to Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's Save with Stories. Are we going to make a cocktail? Because I'm staring at it. This is an interesting cocktail, by the way.
Very sweet to help kind of celebrate us tonight. And so we're making Johnny Walker and ginger beer. And I'm not an act. I'm starting to be a Scotch drinker. I feel very sophisticated.
Is it Molnar? Is he a Scotch guy?
No, he likes Scotch. Yes, he loves Scotch, but I don't know. I feel like a badass when I drink Scotch for some reason, Scotch on the rocks. I just feel like a fraud,
I don't know how this works, Katie. I never drink cocktails.
Oh, you just put a little of the of scotch and then you put ginger beer on top of it,
I
Jen.
think I did it backwards, and I think it's by far mostly ginger beer, but I'm not going to finish this, is what I want the world of Instagram to know. This is going to be too strong for me. Cheers. Okay, let me see.
Drink responsibly, everyone. It's actually quite tasty. I love ginger and I love ginger beer. What do you think, Jen?
I mean, that'll grow hair on your chest. Honestly, I'm typically a red wine person, but I have to say this combination is surprisingly light and tasty.
It is, and you put a lemon in it, and it's sort of refreshing and yummy.
It is, Katie Couric. Katie, I'm so excited about your book. When do we see it?
Oh, it comes out next October. You know, it's very scary writing a book about yourself and about your kind of, it's, first of all, it's like going to therapy every day, and to kind of be open and honest about your vulnerabilities, about things that you're proud of, things that you're not as proud of, your triumph and your, you know, mess ups. But I really enjoyed the writing process, and I learned a lot about myself. I looked into my family history and, you know, talked a lot about losing my husband and then my sister just a couple years later. And so it's kind of an emotional roller coaster. I think even writing it was, but also I think reading it will be. And I hope, you know, gosh, you can only hope that somebody gets something out of it or they find it interesting. I worked during such an extraordinary time and still am, but I think about when I graduated from college in 1979, Jen, to now, that's 40 years of American history that I've kind of had a relatively front row seat and been able to witness. So, you know, it's very personal, but it also, I think, highlights some really important moments in our nation's history that were interesting to revisit, and how far we've come. You know, I mean, I think sometimes when we get really down on the country, that we have made a lot of progress, not enough, and there's still so much that we need to do in terms of equality and opportunity for everyone. But I was just even looking at interviews I did in the 90s with Matthew Shepard's parents, and, you know, I'm sorry, and I've only had a sip.
Now I'm getting screwed up. LBGTQ.
Why I can't say
LGBTQ
plus.
I.
My daughter's terrified that I messed that up, but no, but LGBTQ plus people, I think, and rights were just on the precipice in the. We even think about the 80s with the AIDS crisis.
Yeah.
You know, just looking back on things, I think about how unenlightened we were in so many different areas, and I feel so positive that we've begun to make so many strides. So it's been really an interesting exercise. I know we have to do some social questions because people are not that interested in me, Jen. They're interested in you. So let's talk about you. So what are you doing? Oh, first we have to mention Robin Shaw. How cute is you did you were on the show, you were on Drew Barrymore with Robin.
Yeah.
I did a cocktail hour with her last Saturday after I saw her on your Instagram.
Oh, good.
And so how great is it? And I think she's so grateful. Was it sweet to see her reaction?
It was, but I really just feel like, yeah, I mean, it's really, first of all, Tank's Good News, you know, which is an account I love. I love all the good news accounts. I love them all. But he sent her to me. So it's not like, you know, and of course, anyone who had seen her would have just wanted to enjoy her and share her immediately. And it's really, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the kind of thing like when you are first starting to kind of get some momentum in your career is when you start consistently testing for things. It isn't like the thing that you finally get necessarily. It's just you building your way up. And that's, for her, she's been doing that. She just didn't know it. So it's all her, and I'm just happy to get to, get to watch her and get to meet her. And I called her and we chatted for a while, and she's a
So,
cutie.
and that's one of the things I love. It was so hard when I was starting out in television news, and to a certain extent when you were starting out in acting, to find an audience. And now,
Oh yeah.
oh, I'm so overwhelmed by and inspired by the creativity I see coming from all different people. Like, I love James Whiteside, who's a dancer with the ABT, and and there are just all these incredible artists and musicians and chefs, and it's just, to me, it has just kind of helped creativity explode, and I think
Yeah.
it's so cool.
I do too. I love it. I love interacting with people. I feel like I do have friends that I have grown closer to, or even met. I've never met in real life, but I've become friends with them just over Instagram. I keep track of you so much more. I keep track of the fact that you now keep track of James Whiteside and Isabella Boylston and all my ABT buddies and my New York City ballet buddies, all my ballerinas.
Yeah.
I get made fun of a lot around here because when I'm supposed to be doing something, you can guarantee right when it's crunch time, I am watching a dancer. I have a real, the whole reason to me to be on Instagram are recipes and dancers. I get to watch ballet all the time. And as a matter of fact, ABT is doing the Nutcracker. Isabella and James are doing Ratmansky's Nutcracker Pas de Deux tonight, and it's definitely, people watch it because it's magical. I've seen it on stage a billion times. So gorgeous. It's such a hard pas de deux, and they
on Instagram Live.
Well, I know it was showing in Times Square, but I think if you check them out on Instagram or ABT's thing, you'll see where to see it. I'm gonna look. I don't know, but I'm gonna find it.
Because you were obviously a dancer.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's what I grew up doing in West Virginia. That's kind of, and I was never going to be a professional dancer, but I think it's so important to know that doesn't matter. It's who I am. I still got so much out of it. And it's, and it's so fun for me to get to be in touch with the best dancers in the world.
Well, I know they love your support. My friend Dana just texted me to ask you what your glasses are.
Great question, Dana. Celine.
Okay, mine Addis, and you just ordered them online, and they're readers because my eyes are getting so bad, which is a whole different conversation. All right, let me go to some of your social questions because I know you're busy and have a lot going on. Somebody asked what your favorite cookbook was. Would you say Ina's?
Yeah, modern comfort food is truly, I can't get enough of it right now. And I could list my favorite recipes in there, which I won't. But Thanksgiving is hilarious because it's like, that's barefoot at home. That's barefoot. I just have them all stacked up on my counter with all my favorite, her apple galette from her first cookbook. And yeah, so I'm Ina all the way for sure.
That's so funny. Someone asked, a lot of people are asking how you stay so positive.
Oh, why wouldn't you? I mean, we're alive. You've got to be like, first of all, I have a beautiful life. I have a home, I have food, I have friends, I have laughter. I'm having a cocktail with Katie Couric. So what do I not have to be positive about? But there have been times where I've had to be really willful about it and just decide to be, and that happens too, but that's okay. And you're not always positive. Sometimes you're a big.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important because, you have to have those down moments to appreciate some of the up moments. And I think you can't, I think everybody has emotional highs and lows, and that's okay. I think we shouldn't feel worse because if we're not happy all the time. And I know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. I hope this isn't too personal, but I know you're a person of faith, and I know that you and your kids go to church regularly when when people could go to church. And, does that play a role in kind of you staying grounded and kind of even keeled and grateful?
Well, for sure. But the reason is because of community, because I love any community that I can be a part of that I wouldn't be a part of otherwise. I love my little community from my church, and running into them because it's a neighborhood church. I run into them at the grocery store. I run into them walking out, and they're it's like a lot of I love senior citizens, and it's a lot of seniors whom I adore. And it's people that I wouldn't know otherwise. And I feel such an intimate connection with those people. And I think that's just, you have to seek that out wherever you can, and really commit to it wherever you can.
And do your kids go willingly, or do they give you a hard time? Or
my mom told me, first of all, we started going when I had gone my entire childhood, and whenever I'm home. But then somehow I thought in my head, and I'll try to be brief, but I thought in my head that my kids would just pick it up from me. I don't know. It felt like going with paparazzi. It just felt like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't try to do that. And then I made this movie, Miracles from Heaven. And it was so much part of the conversation while we were making the movie. It's kind of a Christian movie. And I felt so exposed to be talking about that part of myself, even on set, much less playing someone. And when I came home, my kids had come home a couple of days before me, and they said, you don't take us to church. And I said, we'll go the minute you tell me. And they said, we want to go. And it was a Saturday night, and we went that next day, and we've gone that was that. And my mom said, don't fight about what they wear. Let Sam dress as a ninja. Don't fight. Don't argue with them. Let them get cookies after, but just be joyful that you're there. And I do. And the community is really cozy with them, because I think they know it's hard for my kids sometimes to feel safe. And so they have that there. No, I don't have to fight them. Violet's the Sunday school teacher. I mean, it's cute.
And Violet, obviously named after your grandmother.
Yeah.
Right. I think, I've been reading a lot about loneliness and social isolation. Vivek Murthy, who was President Obama's Surgeon General, wrote a book called Together. And it's really it's so important. We are hardwired to be social animals, have that sense of community. And I think the nice thing about any gathering, and, whether you go to church or synagogue or to a mosque or however you choose to worship, or there's another method for you to gather people and do, whether it's volunteering with an organization, it's so important. And I think I don't go to church all that often, but when I do, I like there's something ritualistic about prayers and about just being in a place with other people, saying the same thing.
Yes, it's very healing.
Saying the same song over and
it's knowing that my family is singing the same song maybe that Sunday, because we all go to I grew up Methodist, and knowing that my big sister is at this Methodist church and my little sister's at that one with my parents, and that we all might be singing the same hymn. And when I hear them, I remember getting the giggles next to my sisters in church. And there's something that, whatever it is that roots you to who you were as a child, I think it's just important. And so then knowing that makes me feel like, well, I better be rooting some stuff with my kids. I better be working on that and giving them something to look back to when it's hard for them.
Yeah, it's almost a genetic awakening. It's really interesting, I think, and about rituals and remind you of your childhood. Oh, by the way, my good friend Sarah Sanders, well, we just met at the beginning of the pandemic. She was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. She's been going through a challenging time, and she just loves you. And she just wanted to thank you for being such an uplifting person. And so I wanted to say that for Sarah. And then I wanted to ask you your plans for Christmas, and then we're going to let you go, because I think Mo is saying wrap it up.
No, Mo's fine. Mo's fine. Look, I'm going to make you be.
Adriana is. Hi, Mo. Hi, Mo.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Mo.
Nice to see you. I'm great, thanks.
Come and say hi to Mo. So,
Mo, I didn't put you on blast.
Yeah, it's all right.
See, do you think, because we're starting to look alike? Because I think you guys are kind of starting to look alike.
Adriana is so sick of me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
We're so lucky to have them because it's nice. And then my daughter Carrie is the same age as Adriana. So nice. And then my friend Alston is here with us. We've all been super careful in social distancing, but Alston's been by herself for this pandemic, and it's really hard for people who live alone. So I think I just want to make a plug. If you know someone who lives alone, just think of them and make sure you reach out to them, because it's a lonely experience when you don't have, and I thrive on chaos. I like a lot of people around. And I think just think of someone, and if you know someone, everyone who's watching, give them a call tonight or tomorrow and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. And sometimes you can even watch a movie together. You can just be on the phone together.
Yeah, you can. I know, I've done it. Or just using this time to set up Zooms with people you haven't spoken to in forever. There's something so regenerative and great about it.
I agree. So any big plans for Christmas, Jen, before we go?
I think you're looking at it, Katie. I'm kind of liking this, although I'm going to have to, but that's going right to my head. But
well, I say LGBTQ plus, so obviously
LGBTQ. I mean, hello, I know this like the back of LGBTQ plus. Yes, it's so important. You have to learn it. That's respect. No, LGBTQ plus. I'm saying it to myself. I'm saying it to everyone. We all respect.
I had a misfiring somehow.
Oh, my daughter would be so. She would just be like, "You're so just cisgendered. You're so cisnormative."
My daughter's in the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, embarrassing. But are you going to see? I guess it's going to be hard. I guess you won't be able to see your mom and dad. You'll Zoom with them. Your mom made some great sweet potato pudding, right?
She is funny. My mom wants to be an Instagram queen. She wants me to have her on all the time. She's like, I read the comments and I think they like me. I said, I know, Mom, they do.
That is so cute.
Simmer down, Mom. No, I can't even think about it. I will not. This isn't a family year, but this is a year to just abide and to know that better things are coming, and we just have to, we're getting there. I think it helps a lot to have a light at the end of the tunnel. I will be first in line for that vaccine, won't you?
Yes, I will. And I think, one of the things that's really important is that it reaches the communities that Save the Children serving, and that, it's interesting. I interviewed a Black doctor who's part of a consortium who is reaching out to people of color because there's a lot of mistrust with vaccines in the Black community, understandably so, because of the fatigue and some medical atrocities that were committed against enslaved people. And so, I think that's going to take a really big effort to make sure that all communities trust this and believe in science and are appreciative of all the scientists that have worked so hard to really come up with these vaccines in record speed. And I think, yes, I will be doing it, and I will be educating people as much as I can feel comfortable taking the vaccine, because that's a whole nother controversy that we don't have time to get into. I don't think we want to wade into that either.
Well, count me in if I can be if I can be part of that storytelling, doing it on on camera with you. Excuse me, ginger beer, whatever it is, Katie. I'm down for it, because it's so important. It's going to take all of us doing another big push together. And it is unfair to just expect people whose generations have earned the right to mistrust. Yeah. We can't expect people to just leap into a place of surrender. We have to, go along their walk with them.
And I think, it's really hard. I think I just posted an interview that someone on my team, Julia Lewis, did with a nurse in Minnesota. And I think there's a lot of COVID fatigue, but we have to continue supporting our frontline workers, and they are at their wits' end. They're really suffering emotionally, spiritually, physically. And I think we have to be responsible for the people who are taking care of so many Americans. And now, you know, so many people in our in our parents' generation, and my parents, my dad, and I'm sure your grandparents, and maybe your dad and your
My
mom,
parents, yeah, they're 82, yeah.
they have sacrificed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're not accustomed to being asked to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And people are it's the faster we get this under control, the faster people can get back to work. And I just think it's really important that even though we're so polarized, that we come together as a country and do the right thing for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
I couldn't agree more. It's just another few months. It's just even just think of it 1 week at a time. But this is a week. Next week is a week. The week Christmas is a week. We're just gonna have to bear down and
be smart
and Zoom our moms.
Yeah.
If you're able to, your sister. I'm lucky to have a mom to Zoom, so I will do it.
Maybe I'll Zoom your mom, Jen.
You should. She's the sweetest. She's the coziest mom in all the world.
Oh, isn't that nice? Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you made her, because there's nobody like your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, listen, it's been so fun talking to you. You're just such a light. And Sarah, my friend Sarah, was freaking out that I mentioned her name when I was talking to you, but
Extra big love to her.
And maybe we can do this again. And it was really fun seeing you. And tell Mo I said thank you. Bye, Mo. Bye, Mo.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Adriana. Bye, Carrie. Bye, everyone over there.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Thank you for
Bye.
having me. This was really fun.
Jen.
Bye.
Bye. If you guys like what you see, subscribe right here.